Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. We are here today about to eat something so delicious. I'm so excited to finally try this dish. I found this from one of my fellow AI peers on Instagram. They are lucky enough to share their recipes with the community, and I am about to devour their creation. This dish is ground pork, sweet potatoes, there are Granny Smith green apples, there is also white onion, sage, sea salt, and a little bit of apple cider vinegar. So I'm pretty hungry, so I'm going to just dig in and try this since I haven't even had a taste yet. Mmm. Mm-hmm. Mmm. Definitely got a little bite of apple on that bite. I'm a fan. I am a fan. I'm just really enjoying tasting the pork come out in this. Not sure if the acidity from the apple cider vinegar or some of the tartness from the vinegar is drawing out a different taste of the pork for me, but I really am a fan. Oh. So I thought for today I could do a little story time. I am a bus driver. I drive bus for the city and have many stories, but the one that I always come back to happened within my first 6 months on the job. So I was pretty much a newbie driving bus, and it was in the summertime. It was the end of July. I remember because my husband always takes his annual fishing trip with his father at the end of July. So the other reason I remember he wasn't here was because I really needed moral support when I got off of work that night, and there was nobody in the house but my furry babies. What do you do? What do you do? So this particular evening, unbeknownst to me, there had been a rival gang fight at the bus stop I was picking up at. I did know that about 3 blocks ahead I was scheduled for a detour, as the street that I would be driving on was closed for a parade called the Rice Street Parade. It happens every year, so I assumed the people who were boarding my bus knew that the festival was going on, that the parade was happening, so that they could maybe anticipate there might be a slight different way to get to the parade. Not so much. So back the train up just a little bit at the last big bus stop before I would have to make the detour. I am telling you, so many bodies were pushing their way onto my bus. I attempted to put my hand up, still being a very naive, quiet, small girl. Stop, you know, the bus is at capacity, we don't have any more room, I'm gonna have to shut the door. And so as I try to shut the door, because they're just not listening to me and continuously shoving one another up into the bus, I shut the door on a woman, and she ends up screaming profanities at me. When I get in there, I'm gonna beepity bleep bleep bleep. And what do? Just open the door and let more of them keep coming and piling on and piling on. Nowhere at this point do I think to myself, hey, they have installed emergency equipment for situations just like this. I should maybe send for help. No, I didn't. So good. I did a good job. Go me. So, at this point, there are so many bodies inside of the bus that when I peer up into the rear view mirror, I am not even able to differentiate heads and bodies and shoulders. I just see a mass amount of people. I still don't realize that I should stop the bus and call for help. I just think, it's only like 6 blocks maybe to drop all these people off because I know that's where they're going. They're going to the parade. No, naive me just thinks, let's just keep going. So I close the door and I continue up the street, like I said, about 3 blocks. And when I get to the road closure, I have to make a right-hand turn. The moment that I do so, all hell erupts on the bus. I'm telling you, noises, I can't even differentiate what they were. I heard hands pounding on the glass window. I heard people grabbing the yellow chime to indicate a bus stop. I heard what I assumed was slapping or punching. I heard people screaming. I heard mothers yelling, "Don't do this, not in front of the kids, stop, stop." And me trying to view in the rear view mirror and see what's happening is just shouting, "What's going on? What's going on? I can't see. Are they fighting? What's happening?" Silly Krista. Silly, silly. We proceed on our detour. And the next terrifying thing that I do know I can identify is I hear a stun gun come out. And I'm thinking, oh no. Someone's getting tased. Next thing I am fearful for is someone's going to have an actual gun. I am on high alert and just panicking and just petrified. I had at this point called for help. Silly Krista. She should have hit the emergency button, gotten help there sooner. Dispatch ends up calling me back and says, "Where are you? We need you to pull over the vehicle and police will get to you soon." At this point, I am petrified. I am trembling. My voice is quivering. I have so much adrenaline going and fear that I say, I am absolutely not going to pull this bus over. If I pull this bus over in the middle of nowhere without these people being able to get to their parade, I'm going to be injured. I didn't come to work tonight to get assaulted, and so I'm not going to pull over. You guys can follow me on GPS, and when the police catch up to me, that is when I'll pull over. I go maybe 2.5, maybe 3 blocks on this detour. I go up a hill, and I see one of our supervisors waiting there on the corner, directing people to head north on the detour. My heart rests just a little bit because I think, yes, someone is going to help me out. I approach her, open my door, and I say, "I need help." She went to step up onto the bus and heard the commotion, turned her head and saw what was going on. Mind you, at this point it's a full-blown riot. No exaggeration. And she steps back off the bus and raises her hands and says, I don't know what to tell you. And I was like, you're really not going to help me? And she's just raised her hands and backed away, because that was how terrifying the situation I was in was to her, a supervisor. Instilled more fear into me yet. So what does naive Krista continue to do? Keeps on driving. So I keep heading north, and I have to make another right-hand turn and then another left to keep going northbound on this detour. All the while, the commotion is so loud I can't even hear myself think. I have no idea if there are people bloodied in the back of the bus. I don't know if the windows have broke. I don't know if the chime has snapped loose. I don't know. I'm just focused on getting these kids to this parade. And so I keep driving, and the noise keeps getting louder, and I keep getting more and more afraid. So I hit the emergency call again. Not the emergency button that will record what's happening, but just to let them know, hey, I need help again. I like when I get the apples. They're sweet and tart all at the same time. Yum, yum, yum. Yum, yum, yum. Sorry, I'm such a nerd. I'm not sorry, though. I love food. People who know me know that I like to sing and dance when I eat. Mm-hmm. Yummy, yum, yums. This time when they call me back, they say, we need you to pull the bus over so that the police can catch up with you. And I'm so terrified at this point. Mind you, it's maybe been about 4 minutes that all of this has been going on. I'm sweating through my shirt. I can barely grip the wheel because my hands are so slippery. I'm trembling. I'm all but having a real panic attack minus hyperventilating. Just terrified. And so we, at this point, are parallel to the street that the parade is happening on, and I'm next to a cemetery. And I had just reached a point where my nerves were fried, and I listened, and I said, okay, I'm going to pull the bus over. There's so many different textures. The softness from the sweet potato, and then the kind of grainy texture maybe from the ground meat, and then you get with an apple and you have the soft but then the kind of tough outer skin. So I decide to pull the bus over. As I'm pulling the bus over and putting the hazards on, I hear everybody going crazy and losing their marbles, yelling things at me that I don't fully remember, very upset with me. I get on the loudspeaker and I announce, "We are pulling over. The parade is a block to the right. Things are just too crazy in here. If any of you would like to stay on the bus, the police will be here to escort you off within a few moments." Open both the doors. The majority fly out at the word of the police on the way. This whole time I am just embracing myself and have one fist clenched on the left, trying to hold it, thinking, all right, this is it. This is the day that Krista gets assaulted from somebody. I don't know what's going to happen, but if somebody approaches me, I'm just going to use this and punch them. That's what's in my mind. Even though we're trained and told over and over and over, you cannot hit anyone. Even if you're being assaulted, you cannot hit anyone. Kind of weird. Kind of doesn't make sense, huh? Just remembered, there's mushrooms in here too. More protein. So not only one, but two individuals get right up in my face as they're departing the bus. The first was a woman. "Oh, you ain't nothing, girl. If you're this terrified, you'll never make it in this industry." Or I don't even remember. It's been so many years what she said to me, but she was just letting me have it and letting me know how big of a coward I was. And I don't say anything to her because I don't want to aggravate her any more than she is and have anything escalate, so I don't say anything. She leaves the bus. Second person who approached me is a grown man, probably in his 50s, screaming right in my face, kind of the same things. "Oh, you ain't nothing. You're just this little tiny bus driver. You're just this little girl," blah, blah, blah. Just insulting me. And they did tell me very unkind profanities that I don't wish to say again on film. I was just terrified. I was just bracing myself. This is it, this is it. And I just kind of lost edge at that point. And I just looked at him and I said, "There's no reason for you to scream and be rude to me, sir. There's the door. The cops are on their way." And I'm sure there was more of an exchange, but I don't remember. And I just was so thankful that he did not hit me. I was so thankful. Within a few minutes, police squads were all but surrounding the bus. Street supervisors had showed up. I was so relieved. After that man screamed in my face and got out, I could not hold back the tears in my eyes anymore. Call me a baby, call me a sissy, a Sally, a wuss. I don't care what you call me. That was just the most intensity I'd ever endured, and I couldn't hold any longer, and I had tears break through. I was upset. My street supervisor and the police ended up walking up into the bus and asked me, was I physically okay? And I said, yes, I'm okay. But mentally, I'm done. I am frazzled. My brain is on overdrive. I can barely function right now. And at this point, my street supervisor noticed that I had a few of my regulars who still needed to go quite a ways on the route to go home after they worked hard on their days at work and also endured a riot with me. And he asked me, "Do you want to step outside of the bus so they don't see you acting like this?" And I said, "Yeah, good call. Let's get out of the bus." I leave the bus with my street supervisor, and we walk about a block, maybe two, down the street away from the bus, talking about what had happened. I gave my full report. I don't remember if any police were talking with me at that point or not. It's all kind of a blur. But as I was finished telling him my side of the story and I was composing myself, one of my regular gals had hopped off the bus as well, probably just to get away from all the craziness. And she approached me and she said, "Hon, are you okay?" And I said, "I'm okay. I'm really shaken up right now, but I'm okay." And she said, "Girl, I have seen some things, and that was straight crazy. That was the craziest thing I've ever seen." And I just felt so much support from her because she had endured what I had just endured. And I just was like, thank you so much for being here in this moment and helping me get through it. And she said, "Anytime." And we just kind of had this quiet moment, the two of us, after what we had just went through. The next thing I recall happening, my street supervisor approached me again and asked if I was able to continue the route, and I all but laughed in his face, and I said, "Absolutely not. I'm done. I'm done for the day. I don't care who you have to get out here, how long it takes to get somebody out here. If you yourself have to get in the bus behind that seat and drive them home, I will not be driving anymore tonight. I'm going home." And he asked me a couple different times if I was sure and could I just do it, and almost was pressuring me to do it, and I just kept firm and I said absolutely not. And since I was brand new at this point, he asked if I knew how to get the bus back to the garage. The garage was literally about 6 blocks away from there, and I said, "Yes, I can get the bus back to the garage, but I will not be continuing in service. I don't have the mental capacity to transport these people safely home." And so somebody else did fill the route and bring them home. And that is kind of tying back to the beginning of my story, where I was upset with my husband because I knew I was going to need someone to be home and give me a hug and kind of just let me vent and talk about what had just happened. And I was going to come home to an empty house, which I did. But what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and having that story in my repertoire of bus skills has been a pretty good thing, I think. It for sure toughened my skin, taught me that if I'm afraid like that ever again, or if people keep pushing themselves on the bus like that and they won't listen to me, I just hit that button. I'm not going to move. Pop the e-brake, open the doors, maybe let them know, "Hey, you can wait for the police because the police were on their way here, but we're not moving the bus." I didn't have to get myself in that situation looking back, but how would I have known, been so fresh on the job and having that been my first incident? I wouldn't have known. Come to find out the next day, also tying back to the beginning of the story, there had been a gang fight at that bus stop. There's also a light rail that runs perpendicular to the bus stop I was picking up at. And they had just gotten into a huge disagreement over East Side and West Side. I don't know. I don't follow that stuff. And they were all looking to hop on whatever bus pulled up first to flee the scene. I didn't know. There had been gunshots and everything, so I am thankful that there was not a gun pulled out on my route and anything worse happened than just the verbal abuse. We can recover from a verbal abuse. I don't really think you can recover from the physical that could have been. see if I can't put one heaping spoonful together for the last bite here. It's not very classy to use my fingers like this. But in real life, I am a definite finger food to mouth eater. Like that. So I'm not too shy getting my fingers dirty. Here we go. Mmm. Mmm, mmm, mmm. Well, that was delicious. I kind of wish I had more, but I am about the perfect amount of full, so I'm good to go. Let me know if you enjoyed this story time. I have plenty more bus driving tales from the bus, so if anyone is interested in that, let me know. If you liked the video, leave a like or a comment, subscribe. I will leave the description below of this fabulous recipe and where you can find it. I guess that's going to do it for me tonight, and I hope to see you all real soon. Have a good night. Bye. Bye.